Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospect Central 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have Daniel, Keelan, and Grayson, and we're going to be doing part 4, the final part of our Lions preview. And in this part, we're just going to be going over our season predictions, what we think about the team's record in the 2020 season, and picking games, both as a consensus and individually. So, uh, basically, how this is going to work, just briefly, is we're going to go through the four of us. We're going to say win because I think the Lions outscore whoever, or lost
You
because the
don't
Lions
say.
defense shuts down Drew Brees or whoever. So, just like brief one sentence in summary on why you think the team is going to win or lose that game, and any potential matchup issues that could be exploited, except for week one, which is the main reason why we have Grayson with us today as a Bears fan. I'll let you go into a little bit more detail right now once I finish this preview intro thing on the Bears Lions game. So, your thoughts on week one and any matchup issues that could arise for either or both teams?
Yeah. So the main issue for week one is going to be if Mitchell Trubisky shows up like old Mitchell Trubisky, or if Mitchell Trubisky has uh, grown at all. And I'm not sure that he has. And I'm not sure that he really needs to grow up too much. You know, last year he had a pretty statistically similar season to the year before that we went 12-4. Um, so, you know, it might just be who he is, and we need some growth from other places. But if he shows up, you know, he can turn it on 3 games a season. If he shows up on fire, then it could be definitely devastating for whoever they play. But I am worried about how the Bears are able to match up, especially we already talked about it in previous videos. But with the side of the field opposite Kyle Fuller, you know, how do the Lions attack Jalen Johnson? First career game, opening day, rivalry game, on the road, which I guess with no fans, it's not going to change too much, I guess. But it is still, you know, going to be a big moment for him. And if he holds his own against Kenny Galladay and crew, I think we could be seeing some Bears successes, not only this Sunday, but throughout the year. But I am worried about Matthew Stafford and what he does. You know, you always pull up those fourth quarter comeback stats. You know, he's got a knack for winning games, uh, and it should be close. And he is very good in a close game.
Cool. So, win-loss prediction?
I'm going to say the Bears just because I have to. It is my obligation to pick the Chicago Bears. So I like the Bears. Realistically, I'm kind of expecting the Lions. Just looking at the schedule you've got pulled up right now, I think I'm going to pick against the Lions for some of these next few games. So I will pick the Bears only because I have to. In Detroit, first game of the year, anything can happen. So tentatively picking the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you for the most part. I think that Chicago's going to come in ready to pull off an upset. Uh, and I really just do not trust the Matt Patricia defense week one is really what it comes down to for me. Obviously, Mr. Trubisky has had success against Matt Patricia. And from all accounts, from what I've heard from Bears camp, Allen Robinson and Mitchell Trubisky are on the same page. And that's going to be huge because I don't really think Desmond Trufant is ready to kind of step into that CB1 role day one against Robinson. So yes, we'll be able to shut down the rest of their weapons. Yes, we have the secondary. Yes, we have the passing offense. I'm just not really confident in our defense week one to kind of step up and take on Chicago immediately moving forward. Keelan, you next.
Yeah, I don't know. It was tough, but I guess I'll go with the Bears on for this one. The home field advantage for the Lions really doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to be in Ford Field technically, but it's no fans, and especially week one. So, you know, like you
Well,
said,
I guess. Well,
go.
I guess I'll. Whoops, sorry.
You go ahead, Daniel.
Well, I guess I'll go against the grain here and say Lions win. I think that, simply put, I think that Matt Stafford is a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky, and that sometimes football really is that simple. Um, yeah, I think we can beat the Bears, and I don't think that. I think we match up pretty well against them. So,
Interesting.
but that's just me.
Cool. So I know, Grayson, you're probably not going to be able to stay the whole time. So do you want to go over Week 13 real quick too while you're still here?
Yeah. So week 13, you never know who's going to be hurt. It's so far in the future, you just can't expect it. We might even have crowds by then. One thing, when you're looking that far into the future and when you're picking division games, I always, no matter what, pick every team in the division to go 3-3 and then pick all the other games. This game will be in Chicago. I already picked Chicago to win week 1. I don't like picking the sweep, but I think it just matches up to a certain point that the Bears are able to get the season sweep. Obviously, someone's injured, Mac's not playing, whatever reasons one could have. But it is, you're looking at generally the same matchups and stuff. I'm not expecting any, trade deadline moves or anything like that to put one team over the hump or something like that. It comes down to when you get that far, the depth that some teams have. And, we've had some talks. We didn't really talk about it in these past couple of videos, but the Lions, top to bottom, have a lot of talent, but they don't have a lot of depth is the general consensus that I've came to. And, the Bears have their issues, yes, but I think they might just be able to edge it out. Trubisky misses a couple games. I expect Nick Foles to come in and play just as well, if not better than Trubisky. If Matthew Stafford misses games, I know you guys at least know how much I am not, pardon me, a Chase Daniels fan. So stuff like that is so hard to pick, but I would tend to go with Chicago here, simply because it's at home and that's how I pick divisional games. So we'll roll with them here as well.
Okay, I'm going to take the other side of this. I actually really like us a lot better here. By week 13, our defense should be rolling, communicating. Everything should be kind of settled in as far as that goes. We're coming off a Thursday night game, so we're also going to have extra prep time. Hopefully that by that point, the whole Mitch Trubisky factor is kind of over, and we'll be a little bit more prepared and engaged and settled down. We'll be a little bit more used to contact. Schematically, everything will just be hopefully clicking by that point. And really, once it gets into this point in the season, I trust this team a little bit more to be a little bit more consistent and kind of get that upper hand in terms of talent level. I think that's where like once you get into this November-December stretch is when it's really going to start coming down to the players and the difference in quarterback play specifically is really going to kind of make its mark in this week, probably 11 to 17 stretch. So I'm going to go with Detroit for the second matchup. Daniel?
Okay. Wait, let me jump in real quick just because I do have to go. I didn't know it was the Lions were coming off of a Thursday night, so that does have a big impact in my opinion. The Bears would have already had their bye and everything, and a away game. I think it's Sunday Night Football against Green Bay in Green Bay. So it is definitely shaping up to possibly be a Lions win right there. I just wanted to throw that in because I didn't know they had Thursday night.
Okay. Daniel? Actually, it's
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon because that's Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah. I picked Lions week 1. I don't see any reason to pick Lions week 13. So
Cool. Keilan?
I'm gonna say something about this. I've noticed, and I don't really watch Bears games all that often, but it seems Mitch Trubisky gets his hype and plays a couple good games at the beginning of the season. But as you go into the this tougher stretch, November, December, that's where he slows down. That's where he's turns into a below average quarterback, and whether it's still a below average Trubisky or if it's Nick Foles there who really only played well in his career in Philadelphia when he won the Super Bowl. I feel really confident.
And that one year with Chip Kelly in Philadelphia.
That's true. I still feel really confident, matching up against this team, especially later on in the year. The defense is going to be in midseason form. I think all things will be clicking. So I'm going to go with the Lions here in week 13.
Sweet. Okay, so yeah, Grayson, whenever you have to go, feel free to just step out. But for us who remain here, we'll continue going, and you can until you have to leave, with the second week against the Green Bay Packers. So for me personally, I'm going to start with this one. I actually like us to beat Green Bay
Yeah.
in Green Bay. We were really close to beating them last year on Monday night in front of a crowd with a healthy team. And we still had some injury issues at that time, if I remember correctly. Specifically, Trey Flowers, who I believe was banged up, even though he
Yeah.
played. And we almost beat him week 17, even with David Blau. So from a matchup perspective, I really like us taking down the Matt LaFleur team. They're not built to beat us
No,
at
they're
all.
not.
And I think that's after a rough week one, we kind of just get on it and we're okay. We need to win now. We have another division game. This is a must-win now because we lost to Chicago. We've got to go into Green Bay at Lambeau early in the year and really make our mark. I think we make that noise when we beat Green Bay. Keilan?
I
I'm gonna step
I
in.
think
Oh, what I was
go.
gonna say is, like you said about this team matching up, against us. Our pass rush and our pass defense in the front seven, isn't terrific, but this team likes to run the football, and we have a lot of guys who can stop the run. We match up really great against this Packers team. They have one good receiver, and I have confidence that Trufant, another a game in against the Bears, a week of practice, and Manio and Okuda can stop whoever the other receivers are on the team. I'm really not sure who they would be.
Probably Valdez Scantling.
Yeah, but he's not really good. I like this team. I'm gonna go with the Lions win, which will by default give us the consensus, I guess.
Cool. Daniel?
I think that the Lions lose this game. I think that Green Bay is just generally a better team. I think that if we look at defensive tackles, I'm still not totally sold on Nick Williams or Dennis Shelton, and maybe they can prove me wrong over the course of the season.
Well, they won't go after the passer all that much, but yeah.
Pardon?
I was just saying how they probably won't go after or won't be able to go after the passer all that much, but I mean they can stop the run in a Matt LaFleur's game.
Yeah. And plus, I think we're all forgetting something critical about Green Bay, which is that somehow ref decisions always seem to go Green Bay's way when in the critical moments that define the game. And so I think it's Green Bay.
Cool. Okay, week 3, Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock game, actually game of the week, it looks like, versus the Arizona Cardinals. So again, I'll start. I'm deathly afraid of the Cardinals this year. I think they're a Super Bowl contender at their best. And we saw what happened last year. This team is not built to stop the Arizona Cardinals at all. We're built to beat Green Bay, Minnesota. We're not built to beat Arizona. Them and Tampa Bay and Carolina are the 3 teams I'm probably most afraid of playing this year. Simply due to just matchup advantages, scheme advantages, and the way that Cliff Kingsbury runs that up-tempo, high-paced offense with a mobile quarterback who can air it out, who likes to spread the field wide open, and really just attack. So I like Arizona in a big, big way, especially now that they have DeAndre Hopkins. They almost beat us last year with almost no wide receiver talent. And now they add DeAndre Hopkins to a developing Christian Kirk and is still productive Larry Fitzgerald. I don't see any way that Arizona loses to us, especially at home. Daniel?
I disagree on this one. I think that Kyler Murray at the end of the day, he's still a sophomore. I think he's going to be good. I think he is good, but I think he is very easily beatable, very beatable. And I think that I like our secondary depth. You know, when we're talking about a team that really likes to spread the field with 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, you need secondary depth, and I really like our secondary depth. So I like our chances against Arizona. Their defense is not good enough to stop our passing attack. I'm confident of that, and I think that at the end of the day, Matt Patricia can use the corners at his disposal, be it Jeff Okuda or Justin Coleman or Amani Oluware, to shut down the other four or so receivers for Arizona while letting Hopkins get his. And I think ultimately that's the way to beat this team, and I feel confident we can beat Arizona.
Interesting.
So, Keilan, your tiebreaker.
I disagree completely with Daniel.
So, Arizona?
Yeah, I have Arizona. And the reason being, you know, when I look at our offense, and I look at Arizona's defense as an improving side. They have, you know, in my opinion, a top 3 edge rusher in the league in Chandler Jones. They got one of the more versatile players in the NFL already in Isaiah Simmons, and he hasn't even taken a snap in a game. You know, he can play
Simmons
safety.
is a rookie, though. Let's keep that in mind.
Okay, and by week 3, I'm sure he's gonna know the system. He's gonna, you know, play around. He can play safety. He can play linebacker. You know, he can
He'll
do
take away
whatever.
Hawkinson, really, is where it comes down to.
Exactly, and you know that's gonna be an extremely fun matchup. Hawkinson and Simmons, you know, 2 tremendous players. The thing about this is, how can this team shut down Kyler Murray? And I feel like you can't really take away his legs. I mean, I don't really trust our linebackers to do that. I don't trust our linemen to do that, really. Our corners, I mean, I feel like Hawkinson's gonna absolutely torch Truth on. I think I have faith in Okuda and Amani O and, you know, Coleman to shut down the other receiving threats. And Kenyon Drake's another wild card. That's a tremendous running back. So I think this team outmatches us offensively and defensively. And I have Kyler Murray as he's an MVP candidate for me, and I have the Cardinals making it, I think I have them making it to the conference championship.
Nice. Okay.
Expectations for a team that went like 6-10 or something like that last year.
I think they went 6-9-1 because didn't we tie them?
Yeah.
But
I will counter to that, though. We saw what happened with Sean McVay. I think Cliff Kingsbury is kind of heading down that same path.
Yeah. But has he really peaked yet? I mean, last year, Sean McVay's offense and his team made it to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
That's what I'm talking about in year 2.
Right.
The year 2.
Oh,
year
yeah,
one,
I
year
see
2.
what you mean.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, so moving on to week 4 here. I'm not in a hurry, but I kind of want to get through this before the 40 minutes runs up. We have the Saints and Lions week 4 game at Ford Field. So, Daniel, I'll let you start this one.
Loss.
Okay. Why so?
New Orleans is just better.
Right.
Okay. Daniel? Or, not Daniel, Keilan?
See, I'm not sure. I'm gonna compare these teams, then I'll make my decision after. So, you know, the QB battle between Stafford and Breeze, albeit Breeze is probably the better talent. I think this isn't they're not too far off. And just give me 1 second, and Chris, you can give your thoughts, and I'll finish off my thoughts in a minute.
Okay, so running back, I'm just going to continue piggybacking off what you were saying. Running back is Kamara versus our room. I think it's pretty even myself as well. Wide receiver room, they have Michael Thomas, but after that, I kind of like our depth a little bit better, which is kind of surprising to say, but I don't really trust Saints receivers beyond Thomas. Tight end room, I like Hawkinson better. Offensive line, both teams have pretty good offensive line. Saints a little bit better, a little bit more proven, a little bit higher top end talent. Uh, Defensive line, I'll give that to the Saints as well. They still have Sheldon Rankins, who I personally am a believer in. I know the Lions media does not like him at all, but I personally still believe he's pretty respectable defensive tackle talent. Plus Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport versus our pass rush, which versus the Saints O line is not going to do anything at all. um, Linebackers, both teams have question marks at linebacker. I think I like the Saints a little bit more. Uh, just a little bit more consistency on that standpoint. Defensive backs, I like our secondary a little bit better myself. I think Grayson would probably disagree if he were here. But I like Chivon being better than, or not necessarily better than, but at least close enough to Marshall and Lattimore that our corners are able to kind of really step up over their second, third, and fourth corners. And our safeties are far better than theirs. So I like Marcus Williams, but I'm taking Tracy Walker at least in the same tier, if not a tier above Marcus Williams at this point. And Drawing Harmon over, I can't even think of the Saints' other safety. So should be a pretty good game.
For the record, the New Orleans second receiver is Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, they signed Sanders or Cherry Form or whatever. Fair enough. I still think I'd take Marvin Jones over Emmanuel Sanders at this point in their careers.
Yeah, I don't disagree there.
So I think it's relatively close. But coming off of a game on the West Coast, coming back home, we played the Chiefs really tough last year, and I think that we're going to see kind of similar. I just don't know if we're going to be able to pull it out, so I'll agree with Daniel. I think it's really, really close, like a field goal or 7-point game. I don't think they're going to blow us out or anything. But I'll give a slight edge to New Orleans simply because I think they have that consistency element to them that we just don't have at that point in the year.
I'm seeing a little bit of a higher scoring game. I mean, earlier on in the season, I'm seeing like maybe this is kind of a generic
42-35.
score, 42-35. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Saint. I was gonna say St. Louis, but I meant New Orleans.
The Saints.
I don't know why St. Louis is in my head currently. I mean, they don't even have a football team anymore.
Well, because the Saints, St. Louis.
Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna give the edge to the Saints, but it's gonna be a close game. I like how our team matches up against them, but also I like how they match up against us, and I think they have better talent than us.
Cool. So we're just gonna skip over week 5 and week 6. I mean, both bye weeks, right? So we'll head to week 7 against the Atlanta.
Oh, come on! We're not going to talk about our Gardner Minshew. We'll look against our.
I think it's pretty obvious the Lions are gonna win. I think this is probably this game or the game against football team is gonna be the biggest blowout for us.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we all pretty much consensus agree we're going to beat the Jags, especially coming off a bye week.
Exactly.
So with that said, we move on to the Atlanta Falcons. Personally, I think we still beat up Atlanta myself as well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Atlanta this year.
Not as bad as Jacksonville, but the big advantage to Atlanta is their passing offense.
Right.
And it's a little bit different than the Cardinals' passing offense in the sense that they don't really have that explosiveness to them. They have Julio Jones instead of Hopkins and so on, and they have a really good number 2 in Calvin Ridley. But it's not really the same kind of intense up-tempo, mobility, separation style offense. They just beat you by trying to out physical you. It's more of a possession style of passing offense, whereas Arizona's a little bit more spread passing offense.
Well, then again, our corners are used to that in practice. I mean, look at Galladay and Marvin Jones. They're not separators.
Yeah, so there's a different element there between Atlanta's explosive passing offense and Arizona's explosive passing offense. I think we matched up much better against Atlanta. And the other aspects of the team, we're going to disturb on offense, I think. The defense should not be able to stop our offense as much as I think they are. And I don't think they'll be able to stop our run game. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on us that much either.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of their run game, especially against our run D. I mean, Todd Gurley's, looks to be washed. They don't have Freeman. I don't think that. I think Coleman went to the 49ers last year.
Yep.
Um, I like Grady Jarrett, but that's about their only defensive lineman. I like Deion Jones is a pretty good linebacker, I guess. He's pretty athletic.
Yeah,
I don't
Neal's
even,
pretty good too.
I thought he was, I guess, he got hurt game 1 last year.
Yep.
So, you know what? That defense is really lackluster, especially a group of young corners. They got, oh god, we have 10 minutes left, so I'll go quickly. They got their rookie guy, out of Clemson, AJ Terrell, and, Kendall Sheffield, a rookie from Ohio State last year. And there's another guy I'm missing that I can't remember. So, I'm not really a fan of Atlanta at all. Their offense, defense, giving the Lions.
Daniel?
Yeah, I think that this is well suited to be a shootout, and I trust Matt Stafford in a shootout. So,
I don't even
Lions.
think it's gonna be a shootout. I think it's gonna be like a 35-10 game for the Lions. I don't like Atlanta matched up against us at all.
Okay.
Well, let's give a little respect to Matt Ryan, though. He's a pretty good quarterback, and he'll make any
Fair
game
enough.
competitive.
All right, we gotta get going because we have 9 minutes left
Yeah.
and we have more games to go.
Okay, so week 8 versus the Colts. Keilan, you start?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the Colts offense. I mean, I like Pittman. Hilton's going downwards. Rivers is, getting old and he's not that great anymore. Their defense is pretty lackluster. I mean, Darius Leonard's pretty good. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty good game, but I think the Lions are going to win this one.
Daniel?
I think that this comes down to coaching, and I think that Frank Reich is a better coach. So, Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you, but for a different reason. I really think this is going to come down to the Colts' offensive line versus our defensive line. And Philip Rivers is going to have a million, bajillion, quadrillion years to throw the football. Because a 3-man rush versus Quentin Nelson, Brendan Smith, Ryan Kelly, etc. There's no way we're going to get pressure at all against that front. And same thing goes for the run game. They'll be able to run the ball relatively easily behind that line against us too.
Yeah.
So plus coming
Especially
off the
with
bye,
Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor.
they're also another dome team who's used to playing in a dome, so that doesn't really factor for them either. Give me Indianapolis. Okay, week 9 at Minnesota. I'm going to take the Lions in this one. Myself, I think that we had the opportunity to kind of steal a division win here. Going to Minnesota, playing in a dome stadium. Hopefully by this point we don't have crowds, but I think this is where we start to see Matthew Stafford really come into his own and emerge a little bit, and really separate himself from the next couple of teams that we're going to end up playing the rest of the season. So I really think that the difference between Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins is what's really going to separate these two teams, especially when you compare Kirk Cousins versus our past D and Matthew Stafford versus their past D. Daniel, you go.
Thing is that historically this has been a difficult matchup. I know that their secondary is basically totally turned over, but in the past we've struggled a lot with Daniel Hunter really coming off that edge and sacking Matt Stafford a million times. But yeah, I think this is our our game to win. Everson Griffin no longer there. Their secondary barely even the same secondary that it was last year. I think we can beat them.
Cool. Keelan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think of all teams, we match up best against the Vikings in the division. I think this is the only team. I think we're gonna sweep the Vikings, and I'm gonna go Lions here as we attempt to go fast.
Cool. So just going to skip over week 10. I think all three of us unanimously agree that we're the better team than Washington in pretty much every sense there too.
The Lions will beat football team.
Yeah, so we move on to Carolina. I'm going to defer to you guys on this one because actually I'll let Daniel you start.
I think we beat Carolina. I think that Teddy Bridgewater Like they'll put up a fight. I like Carolina this year to put up a fight and be one of those like feisty bad teams as opposed to like a bad team. I think they'll have some promise, but I think that Matt Stafford, I trust him to put us over the top, and Teddy Bridgewater last explosiveness.
I'll I'll go. You know, I think I'm not too concerned with Bridgewater passing the ball, but running the ball, he's going to be a threat against our D. But I still think I give the edge to Detroit, being that I think we have the better quarterback. I think we have the better defense. A pretty similar but better offensive line. I think their only threat is their running game, which I think hopefully we'll be able to minimize everything else to the point where it won't be as much of a factor.
The one thing that gives me the most pause is C-Mac as a passing threat. Unless we put Tracy Walker on him because they don't have a tight end, I really don't see a way that we're going to be able to shut down Christian McCaffrey as a
You know,
receiver.
you're not going to shut down McCaffrey, but you can, put a double coverage on him because
But then you leave guys like DJ Moore open, Curtis Samuel open, Robbie Anderson open. They have a lot of weapons.
that's
You
fair.
you
Yeah, I
shut
forgot
down
about Robbie
the
Anderson.
you shut down the short to intermediate route to make Teddy Bridgewater throw deep on you.
With those deep weapons, though,
If you put Tavai and Walker on on McCaffrey, that would be interesting. But anyways, moving forward.
so
If you don't mind, I'll go.
I just want to introduce the game real quick. I'll let you start, Keilan. But Thursday Thanksgiving game at home, Detroit versus Houston.
I'm gonna go Houston. I think Watson's too good for our defense. I mean, I'm higher on Houston than most. Scott will be happy to hear this if he watches this video. I think they're a playoff team. I think they have a chance to win the division, and I think Houston wins this game by a couple scores.
I like us at home Thursday. Houston has to travel from out west for an early afternoon game. That's the what, like 10 o'clock their time, I think it is, on a Thursday. I don't think that's
Yep.
something that they're prepared for. We're going to be coming home, have a little bit of home field rest, home field advantage. Hopefully by that point, true actual home field advantage with fans. I like Detroit in that one. I also think that we match up really good against their defense. And we'll be able
Can't
to
wait
put
to
up points
skip
on them.
school for that.
What?
For me, it's Houston.
Oh,
What I
I
was
think
saying,
that
sorry,
yeah.
Chris. What I was saying is I can't wait to skip school for that because obviously in Canada our Thanksgiving is in October, and we have to go to school on American Thanksgiving, unfortunately.
oh, that sucks.
So yeah, I skipped school last year, probably the year before. It's just like just an annual thing for me.
Cool. So we already went over Detroit, Chicago when we talked about week 1. So move on to week 14 here versus the Green Bay Packers. I like us again to beat Green Bay. Just again, matchup wise, I do not like Green Bay this year myself. I'm a lot lower on them than the general consensus. And we already talked about Green Bay, so I'll let you guys talk.
Packers in a shootout because Aaron Rodgers in mid to late season form, one of the better quarterbacks of all time. I think Rodgers is gonna throw and outscore Matthew Stafford barely, like something like 35-31.
Daniel?
I think we ultimately split this series. So since we beat them in week 2, apparently, according to you guys, I think they take this one.
Cool. So we have about a minute left to go over the final 3 games. Minnesota we already went over, so let's just skip ahead to that one.
I think I like them against Minnesota again. I like us, to sweep because I like our offense against their lackluster secondary.
Daniel?
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. Okay, 2 more games left. We'll go Tennessee first. Tennessee, very physical team led by Mike Vrabel. I'll let you guys talk.
I think they're a fairly similar team than us, but I'm gonna go the Titans because I think they're a better team.
Okay, Daniel?
Yeah, I think Mike Vrabel has essentially built what Matt Patricia is trying to build to in Tennessee. So
Yeah.
I think that they're further along than us. They
Okay,
look
and
good
then
in D-Test. So
just
Give me
quickly,
the
because we have less than a minute left, pick Tampa Bay or Detroit.
Bucks.
Bucks.
Okay. So I don't want the timer to cut you guys off, so I'll just kind of go over my real quick thoughts on those two games. Personally, Tennessee, very interesting physical team. Definitely someone who I think can actually ground and pound us. Whoops. There's the timer. Definitely someone I think can kind of really grind it out against us and really make us play the style of game that I think that we want to go for, because Daniel kind of alluded to. Um, I'm not really sure that we're kind of there yet, especially coming off a tough game against the Packers, having to travel to Tennessee in December. Uh, that's going to be a pretty difficult battle. So that's going to be an interesting game for sure. But I tend to agree with them. I think Tennessee is going to be a very difficult matchup, and well, while it should be a good game, it'll be very interesting to see how our offense attacks their defense. And then week 16 against Tampa Bay, we saw what Tampa Bay did against us last year. Uh, I'm hoping that won't repeat itself again with better corners, especially because I think that Darius Slay might have been injured for that game, or at the very least was not himself for that game late last season. And we are at home, I believe. I don't remember if we were at home against them last year or not. Uh, Tampa Bay, Godwin's and Mike Evans, or not Godwin's, Godwin and Mike Evans is going to be a very difficult matchup for us. So that's going to be very tricky to handle. They also have, of course, Tom Brady, who is very, very good, even still. And OJ Howard and Cameron Brate are going to be a challenge to cover as well if they saw both of them for Week 16. Even their run game, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, that offense has a lot of potential and high capability to put up points quickly and easily against basically any team in the league. Bruce Arians' system also, kind of like what we talked about with Arizona, definitely one of those systems that we're going to be weaker against this coming season. I personally have Carolina in that, although the other two disagree, it sounds like. So, definitely very interesting season for us ahead. The consensus, it looks like for us is 8-8, which is probably about right. I have us at 9-7 with a couple of minor changes here and there. I believe I picked us to beat Houston and beat Green Bay, but lose to Carolina with the three differences between me and the consensus. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to kind of see how this season ends up playing out over the course of the next few months. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, learned a thing or two along the way. Definitely a very fun 4-part series. Unfortunately, they're not here to hear this, but shout out to everyone who's able to participate. Sam, Daniel, Keilan, and Grayson as well. Unfortunate that Braden couldn't make it today, but definitely looking forward to hearing his thoughts on the Lions season as well. He'll be joining us for some of the breakdowns and other content moving forward. So hopeful for a very exciting season up ahead. College breakdowns will be coming soon as well. We have a couple recorded already. I don't remember exactly who, but we should have some coming over the course of the next week or so. It's kind of difficult because there's not really a whole lot of tape that we can really go out and republish this year. It looks like a lot of it got taken down over the off season, which is kind of disappointing. So we're trying to find some guys that we can find tape on and kind of get into a little bit more of a groove and cycle as far as that's concerned. So there's something to be on the lookout for as well. Um, as we continue to progress through the season, hopefully week one we start to see a little bit more tape pop up. Unfortunately, we may have to do some roundtable discussions like we did with this, and just kind of breaking down different prospects after we've watched them, and not really so much a film breakdown, but like more of a podcast style type of thing. So that's something you guys are interested in. Maybe we can do like group discussions, like what we think about quarterbacks or wide receivers and so on. So that might be something we switch to a little bit this year to kind of evolve and continue to grow this channel and uh, I guess, had to adjust in some ways to the circumstances around us with COVID and lack of teams playing games and all that kind of thing. So we'll do what we have to do. But I felt this is a pretty good chance to kind of introduce you guys to everyone that's going to be part of our team this year, working together with us throughout the course of the season. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the year ahead. Definitely looking forward to getting to meet some more of you guys in the comments and in the replies and on Twitter and Facebook and everything like that. Definitely go ahead and check out our stuff over at DL. Well, I should say my stuff specifically at DetroitLionsPodcast.com as well. I call into the show every so often, generally every week during the season and over the course of the draft process. For some more Lions takes specifically, I'm doing Lions preview series for those of you guys who watched the first two parts of this. You saw that specifically part one. I don't think I showed any of it during part two. So we have that going on as well. And definitely huge shout out to everyone at DLP, both in the comments and in the Slack chat and everything that we've been doing over there has been fantastic to be a part of. So really looking forward to the year ahead with them as well. And everyone in Takedown too as well. I guess I'm kind of just using this as a personal shout out time to kind of to thank everyone for what we're going to be able to do this year and for being a part of the channel's growth and success that we've had so far. So but with that being said, huge thank you to everyone who I talk to day to day, even Twitter, all you guys on Twitter who are part of this, and hopefully I'm looking forward to what we can do this year. Definitely should be a lot of fun learning and growing and continuing to develop as analysts, as evaluators, as journalists, as people, most importantly, and uh, really looking forward to the process this year and continuing to strive for the best. So, with that all said, hopefully, you guys are enjoying our content and what we're going to be able to bring to you over the course of the next several months heading into the draft in April. Going to try and focus a little bit more on the NFL than we have in the past due to those circumstances with college. So we might be doing weekly picks. We might be doing previews for the Lions every week. We might be doing all kinds of different stuff. Looking forward to kind of seeing what you guys think about our channel in that direction, kind of moving forward. But yeah, hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of the day, whether you're watching this in January or October, uh, weekday, weekend, holiday, Christmas time, New Year's. Just let's get through 2020 together and celebrate when it's over, because we have football until then, it looks like. So. Anyway, thank you guys all for joining us. Definitely a fun four-part series. And again, one final shout out to everyone who's able to be part of this. Daniel Liebman, Grayson Akaza, Keelan Dyer, and Sam Brushaver, as well as Braden Room, who's not able to join us today. So, but yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys the rest of the year. But for now, have a fantastic rest of your day and peace out.